Kathy with Cup of Soul Show. Hi, Riza. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. I love you. You were like, wait a minute. Can we have some melody? What is going on? I was not ready. But that's what I love about you. You are your authentic self.
You
I was saying to the others, I know at first you probably were like, is this gonna be all physical or are we gonna do some things that I can excel at? So how did you feel when you saw, okay, we are gonna even it out? It's not gonna be like, abs and crawling and stuff like this 24/7.
I mean, girl, don't underestimate a chunky bitch because he would have come through if it was all physical or not. I was there to redeem myself. I'd gone out first on the traders. So I was thinking to myself, if I lose a leg, an arm, a finger, what a bitch got to do to make it to the end or as close to the end as possible because I can't go down first two times in a row. So your man was ready regardless.
And you know what? I also think you have a very nice presence about you. And I think it's what you stand for, which is I'm going to be me, right? Well dressed, but also very much authentic to myself. And I feel like throughout this process, that's exactly who you remain. Where sometimes people feel like they have to morph into these different personalities. And then, you meet them in things like this, and you're like, well, who is this? Because the
A
person on the
hundred.
show is like, you know what I mean?
A
So talk
hundred.
about why that's important. Because I think that helps a lot in these games. When you are true to yourself, that does
No,
go a long way.
no, it does not. You need to be fake as F. You need to front and you need to lie to everyone. And I learned that from Jill and Davon. And Davon comes from a competition show background. She has the most skill in this department. So I was looking to Davon and Wendell to see how you're supposed to operate in this space because Wendell's won $1 million and Davon has been doing competition shows since before competition shows were competition shows. So I knew I couldn't do anyone but Reza. I was going to be me regardless. I'm not good at politicking. I'm not good at faking the front. If you People can walk into a room and know who I like and who I don't like because I can't fake it. Now, people like Jill, housewives, especially Jill, I mean, girl, bow down to her for faking the front. She is as good as they come.
And also, I love that, it is important. You're correct. You can be yourself, but you still have to be smart. You still have to understand in order to be successful at these things, you do need a little bit of help from some of your teammates. You can't be floating out there by yourself. That's when you get caught up. So how did you figure out like, okay, like you said, is you kind of peeped and you observed having learned from past experiences, like I got to figure out how to fit in, how to get in to fit in. Would that be your advice to people who do it in the future? Like, take a second, look around and see like what jives with your personality.
100%. And the difference between the GOAT and traders, a lot of it is fake and what's going on isn't real. But in the GOAT, we were actually living, sleeping in the same room. And so part of it was you build a bond with those people that you're doing pillow talk with at night. So I'm in the room with Wendell, the chef, Jason, Lord Honey, Alyssa Edwards, and we're talking about dinglings and laughing our butts off all night long, but at the same time, trying to get as much knowledge from Wendell as possible. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was a healthy dose of trying to balance being in a competition show and enjoying these human beings that I'm cohabitating with. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Argo, but I grew up during the hostage crisis. My parents were worried I'd get kidnapped for ransom. I never got to go to sleepaway camp. So for me, this was adult sleepaway camp in a mega mansion in Atlanta, and there was no way on God's green earth your man wasn't going to savor the flavors of being in a room with Wendell and Alyssa Edwards and Lord Honey. And I would let my guard down and we would kiki about things that were funny as hell and really serious. And life-changing. And the camaraderie in that room was worth more than the $200,000 that was, the prize on the goat.
Absolutely. And I think this is why we love you and we love seeing you in shows like this. Much success to you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. Thank you for interviewing me.
Hi, Katya Woods Cup of Soul Show. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey,
Both of you come from shows where, it's not necessarily physical. Talk a little bit about what it was like to be in a show where you had to do, a lot of physical activities. Were you prepared or were you just like, oh Lord? Let's start with you, Paloma.
Well, I feel like I'm a wrestler. I'm a pro wrestler, so I do a lot of intense things. So, but I think the show and the challenge, no, it was not just about that because you could be in a really good physical condition, but that's not just that. It's mental. It's so much more than that.
yeah, and coming from the competitive kitchens, I mean, girl, we running with knives in the kitchen. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, yes, it's not super physical in what I'm normally doing. So it was a little bit of a difference for me. But I was all up for it. I mean, I was raised in Kentucky on a farm, so I was always wrestling a cow or I was hunting down a chicken or so I've always had to be physical all my life. So, but it was a little bit more of there was times I'd be like, "Oh my Lord, sweet baby Jesus, surely this ain't. I don't even know if I can do this or not." But we did it.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit because I'm like day one, people are like with alliances. I'm like, Lord, find out who's who first. Like, find out if you even like them, and I feel like Survivor kind of did that, kind of brought that in. Do you feel that people are, because people gonna be lying, but day one, I mean, like, can we at least get to know each other a little bit? Let's start with you, Jason.
I think for me, it was different for me to have to do alliances because I never had been, when you're cooking with chicken and grilled cheese, honey, you don't have to make alliance with either one of them. But so I had to learn that. And I think that I'm not so sure that I would have wanted an exceptionally long time to get to know anybody before I'd made that alliance because then I feel like that would have maybe turned me toward I wouldn't have made alliances with certain people that I have made alliances with. So I think that sometimes for me, just for me saying, I'm better under pressure, just thrown into the lion's den and saying, go. So I think for me, I really liked doing the alliances, like kind of the talk about alliances very first. Because there's always this thing in your mind that we all know. You may make alliance now with somebody, but you could always bring somebody else into that alliance. Or if somebody you don't, you can always remove somebody. And it takes a lot of work to do that. Let's say that. But I think that the very first day for me, I was okay with it.
And you, Paloma, you and the girls, but I love how you were like, she broke the ethics,
Paola.
Paula, so to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paula. But for you, I love how you were like, she went against the girls. So talk a little bit about that because you stood on business and I respect that. I don't want to give away as it goes along, but in the beginning,
Like the
um,
alliance with the girls. Like we
yeah,
tried. We wanted to keep the girls together in the room, but it's hard. It's hard because everybody, I didn't know, but everybody have alliance with everybody and everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
And but I think it's part of the show, It's part of like you want to be able to make it to the end and you want to do what you have to do to make it. And not it's always easy, but it's part of what you sign up for.
Yeah.
do you feel that a lot of the different activities were evened out? Because I think like the trivia helped some people. It wasn't like all sports, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna find out if it's all sports." But I love how it also have music. I love that it's not just physical, but some other type of activities, so everybody had an opportunity to shine. Did you like that part of it? Let's start with you, Paula.
I did like it. I feel like you can show so much about you. You do your best. You never know what to expect on each challenge or everything. You challenge yourself to do something that you have never done before. And like for example, the trivia, I knew I was not gonna do good. I was like, I'm gonna be just running back and forth on that thing, trying to make it work. But I do my best. You just can't quit. And you end up sometimes doing something that you're surprised. You're like, wow, I didn't know I was able to do that. It's fun. It's very fun.
What
Yeah,
about you, Jason?
it's one of those things. I surprisingly, I just totally forgot the question you asked. If you could ask
I was
it.
saying, did you like that they even it out? Because
Oh, yeah.
everybody has
Okay,
different strengths.
yeah.
Because if it's going to be all physical, then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm really not going to be in a kicker. But the fact that
Yeah.
they had something for everybody's strengths.
Yeah, because girl, look, if you've seen me stand up, people are like, oh, he can't play basketball. That's right, honey. I can't dribble a ball and chew gum at the same time. So the good thing is they have all this stuff that we all kind of could hone certain things into. Like trivia is one of my favorite things. And then, I mean, there's just certain things that certain people do better quicker. And then there's certain things that people can do different at all times, but still do. It just may take them a little while. So, but yeah, I like the idea that it's not geared just toward one kind of competition. It did change from time to time.
Absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait until the rest of the world gets to see and try to figure out who's last man standing. I know, like, just from episode 1, I was like, wow, I did not think that person would not make it to the end. But
Yeah.
that's why you gotta play the game and all parts of it. So really enjoy speaking to both of you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Woods, Cup of Soul Show. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, honey. How you doing?
Good, good. Joey. All I'm gonna say,
Hey,
but did you get to see any of it? Were you like, man, I could have helped out over here.
I
Had
gotta
you
tell
let
you,
me-
I don't know. No, because it was after the fact that I found out it was because people thought I was a threat. And I was like, yo, okay, like that's super. Because look, there's like the insecure part of you that's like, oh, like they don't want me here. And then you're like, oh no, it's because they think I'm gonna do really well. Because I swear to you, out of all the competition shows I've gone on to, I have never had the mindset of we're gonna win this thing. It's survival, right? I'm a boxer. You throw me in the ring, I just have to survive till the bell rings and
Saw
keep
the
my hands
thing,
up. Yeah.
Inside the circle. Then
Yeah.
you were a people person. They
Yeah.
were like, he's gonna build the friendships, right?
Yeah.
And that's detrimental in this. And they're like, no, they're gonna like him too much, so we got to get him out the cut. So what
Yeah.
you needed to do, so this is the lesson you learned, right? Day 1, I got to make sure I get immunity.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thinking back in retrospect, if I would have came in with an attitude of just competition, I think it probably would have went differently. But I was vibing. I just wanted to hang out. I wanted to go have some fun, and I was so happy to walk in and see Lauren. Like, it immediately made me feel so blessed to have someone there because it's like first day of school. You're nervous. You don't know who's gonna be there, who's not gonna be there, and when you got one of your people there, it's like, all right, no matter what happens, I'm Gucci.
Absolutely. But we're going to get him at the next one. Lauren, love this for you. Because everybody's like, oh, she's cutesy girl. She's not going to want to get dirty. She's not going to want to get down and, get the claws out. And we came to win. We're not playing games. I love everybody, but, me and my husband, we got plans. So we need to get our cash show. Talk about that because I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, she's nice. She's not going out.
Yeah, it's like even in the competitions, like I came to win. You know what I'm saying? I was playing full out, wholeheartedly. Not a strategy part when it came to the alliances and all that. I had to learn my way through that part, But I came from a dating show. Like Joey said, I was there to have fun. I didn't instantly come in. I think if I would have came in thinking like, all right, I'm here to slash throats,
Yeah.
one. And that just wasn't where I was with it. I was there to have fun. I was there to kick butt in some physical competitions, which I feel like I did. But people always look at me and they like, oh, she's so sweet, she's so this, she's so that. And it's like, hey, don't underestimate me.
You showed up to play.
I did.
For real.
I
Yeah.
did,
For
so
real.
It is a lot of these, with the circle, you had alliances, but you were, you know what I mean? It was still some keys, right?
Yeah.
mhm.
And with the dating, you came to get a husband. As you said, your
Yeah.
dating life was trash. You were like, it's either this or I got to hang it up. But
Right.
this is like, okay, you have people who are really good at, I know how to get you to be on my side. I don't necessarily have to be the best athlete. I just
Right.
need to be able to ride the wave. So what have you learned in this process? Because some of it is, some people are very good. They're like, I don't want to make too much noise. I
Mhm.
just need to ride the middle and make it to like final 4, final 3, and then I can go for it. So what have you learned in the process?
I've learned don't trust nobody. Everybody lying. Everybody. No, I have a little PTSD. But
I can tell. I'm like, I'm so sorry that this has stayed with you. God, so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say, for real, man, it's no different than how I live my life. I trust my gut with everything, and I trust where my gut's gonna lead me. And sometimes it leads me in the right direction, sometimes it leads you in the wrong direction. But looking back at it now, it's funny how we have these days where we're really recapping, and so much becomes even clearer than it has been in my head of when I think back. And I think what made this experience so different is we're the Netflix kids. There were the Bravo kids. There were these, and those really do hold different weights of personality and trying to figure that out. And I think the interesting thing, thinking back to it, is how much different communication was between each camp, and thinking you're good with people and then seeing other people gossiping and talking and seeing that this could really go a lot of different ways. I think that's what made this show very distinct and different.
Absolutely. I mean, the survivor folks, first of all, they survive without showering, doing regular people things. So they're
Right.
always going to be dangerous.
They
Like,
didn't even
I
need
mean, they're
food,
probably
okay?
looking at this like, this is breeze. We
They're so intimidating, for real. Like we're sitting here
They're
like
like-
talking, smiling. They're sitting
I
there thinking
know.
how to build rafts and do this and do that. I'm like, dog,
Right? You're
I don't
right.
know
You
how to do
always-
any of that.
Exactly. You got to be scared of the people that had to learn how to make fire. So that is definitely, they're in a league of their own. And also one thing I liked is that, everybody has strengths, right? Some people are better trivia, some people are better physical, because, you don't want to be like, oh my God, are we doing like 6 weeks of climbing stuff? Because I wasn't ready. And then it gives you a chance, because I like how they kind of like took what all the shows that you guys came from and said, okay, we're going to give you each an opportunity to shine. Did you feel better knowing that? Because I know in the beginning you probably were like, oh, wait a minute now, you didn't say nothing about all of this. Like, I only brought like these types of clothes. We didn't come for this. Were you feeling better once you saw, okay, it's not going to be all,
I mean, yes
Right.
and no to an extent, right? I mean, I wonder what you're going to say to that, because my thing was just like, it's an opportunity to go do what you love again. And regardless of what happens with that, I think you can really minimize your own experience from making something out to be something that it's never going to be, to where it's just like, yo, go be grateful, have a good time. And hopefully they do throw curveballs, because that's what makes great reactions and great television.
Well said. We had to- I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Well, love both of you, Lauren, you are always in our hearts, because we have been like, we have not had a
You are the
duplicate,
people's champion.
and we waiting, girl. So you set
Yes.
the standard. And of course, Joey, we want you to have an opportunity to get back out there, because we know we were like, y'all did our boy wrong.
Yo,
That's right.
July
Who's gonna
19th,
see the
Young
vote?
Lion of the West on Amazon. You'll see my first feature film coming out. So I got a lot to do in that meantime. And I hope everyone tunes in and checks it out, because you're going to see a much different side of me than anyone's ever seen before. And I'm very excited to see everyone's reaction to it.
Absolutely. Much luck and best of luck. Thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a beautiful day.
Hi, Katya Woods Cup of Soul Show. How's everybody?
Good. How are you?
Hello.
Good, good. We could tell who was ready to go and who was kind of like skating or not ready to go day one. So talk a little bit, because competition shows are very, very different from other types of reality shows. So how much did you prep? or how much did you fly by the seat of your pants? Joe, I feel like you kind of made it seem like you were just there to rolling the dice, but deep down inside you were pulling some strings in the background. Was that part of your strategy?
See, I knew I liked you. I knew from the start I would like you. Yeah, I think going into it, I didn't have a strategy because I truly didn't even know what I was walking into. I just knew it was going to be a funny competition show. And then as the show progressed, I started building a strategy around um how I thought I would be able to keep the numbers on my side. So going into it, zero strategy, and as it went on, yeah, I just started molding with the game, I guess.
And you, CJ, you too seemed like you were adjusting for a minute, like not quite getting when people were doing the alliances a little bit. And I'm like, girl, get in the game. Like this is you like you a person that knows how to play it is coming to you, and it's like, I'm like, take the offer, at least for now. Ride the coat waves. Did it take you a minute to adjust?
Yeah, there was definitely I had to warm up a little bit, and I think I really wanted to be honest, and I really tried to play a fair game and just what I like about myself on these shows is that I come across how I am in real life, and I want to stay authentic to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did want to win and be smart in game, but it's more important that like I'm the person that I present myself to be, and I am happy to go home if that means that I've kept my values.
And Justin, I mean, they saw you come in the heels, but you have to let them know, don't play with me, pray for me. I mean, I'm still gonna be in here now. Don't get it wrong. This wig comes off, we gonna roll up these sleeves and get to work. So, is that why? Because I'm sure people are like, oh, not gonna be a threat. And you're like, okay.
Oh, truthfully, I did think that. I thought, look, these other guys are going to be like, what in the world? I mean, like I said, what in gay hell is this that has walked through the doors? And this is a very different setting and setup for me. I come from RuPaul's Drag Race, where there is a format, there's an idea. If your eyeliner looks like an EKG report, you're in the bottom. You don't win the lip sync battle, you're going to the house. And this was a whole new thing for me. Because look, it's not just a physical skill. It's not just a trivia skill. It could be luck, but most importantly, it's a social aspect that is key to this. So I think that is the hardest part of coming into a challenge show, when you are playing with other challenge beasts that have done Big Brother, Survivor, Survivor.
One survivor.
I mean, well, let me ask you this after watching. Who did you think was on their way out the door? Did you think I
I was
was?
surprised with the first person very much, because having seen them on the circle, which I love, no shade.
Love the circle, yes.
But he has a very strong personality, and I understand why he was voted off. But I'm like, in a way, I'm also like, you guys kind of like screwed yourself a little bit, because he would have been a great person to have as an ally. But we will never know because y'all got rid of him.
So
But
fun.
Well, didn't you
I
feel like that
also
was
do-
did you feel like that was a repetitive behavior?
Yes.
I think so. Sometimes we got to play the long game. Now, I will say that the Survivor people are a different breed. Like, let's talk about it,
Yeah.
right? They're on an island. They're not showering. They're making their own fire. They're cutting wood. So they're not scared of nothing, right? It's some of these other folks that are a little bit cushy that you have to be like, are you going to be good at the physical challenges? Are you going to be a team player? Are you going to want to get dirty? Like, were any of you thinking that about some people where you're like, what about you says you're going to get in the mud? Right? I would have been paying attention. Whoever was refusing to get in the mud, I would have been like, I don't know if I can trust you, because you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. So were any of you looking for that in your fellow teammates? Anybody that was like, I'm not doing that, were you thinking a little bit like,
Well, I think
you?
I think we were kind of like, especially at the beginning after that first challenge, that was the mindset. But then the game shifted very quickly
So fast.
into a more social game in the way like Big Brother and Survivor is really played. So I think that's where like the focus shifted.
That was disappointing to me. When
Yeah.
it said on my desk and it said it was The GOAT hosted by Daniel Tosh, this is a comedy show.
Done.
I didn't think I was walking into Big Brother. So I was like,
Uh-uh.
this is hilarious, hysterical, total camp, and unhinged. I'm ready for it. I didn't realize it was like, I don't think that was the purpose of the show to be that, a social game. Because if that was the case, we could have eliminated all the challenges, right? And just sat there and woke up on Monday and go, I want you to go home. I don't like that color of eyeshadow you got on.
Uh-huh.
And on Tuesday, I need you to go home. It didn't, there was no compass, no merit needed. It was more about, also, if you were too good in the physical challenges, you become a threat.
It's true.
Yeah, and you never know who's throwing a challenge either. So that's also.
But you know what this
Absolutely.
was? But do you know what this was? This was like being in high school and all the bad kids in detention. That was our house. We were unsupervised, except for sometimes we had Tosh, which is worse than being unsupervised because he provokes us. He was our babysitter. And yeah, he made us laugh. He took care of us. And he made us do games we didn't want to play. He also touched me with his humor. So
I loved the games though. I did.
the challenges were so fun, but I don't know that it was, everyone brought their A game. Everyone got super serious and intense. And I think they want to prove for their fans that they're willing to get in the mud.
Absolutely. Well, I love this for all of you because people learn something new about you. And the one thing everybody should learn in games like this, nobody tells the truth. Everybody lies at some point, a little bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
That was awesome.